Hello everybody, this is the Super High School Level Reviewer here, coming at you today with another review. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I love shonen anime, whether it be Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, and yes, even sometimes stuff like Fairy Tail. Shonen is one of the best genres describable, and one of the most influential genres period upon anime. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. You may be asking me, what of today's show? What makes it so crappy or good that it deserves a review from me? Well, that's a bizarre question. Yeah, by the title of this review, you'll know that I'll be doing a review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that this review will be split into 3 parts corresponding with the 3 parts of the anime. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or Jojo no Kimyo no Boken, is known as the love child of Hirohiko Araki, and unlike other shonens, is based on a family timeline, and has different characters, storylines, and even timelines in the corresponding parts of the show and the manga. With all these different stories and characters, it kind of makes the job more difficult, but at the same time more fun for a person like me who's doing a review of the series. It also opens up a lot of possibilities with the show, like for instance, part 2 being mostly around World War II era, and part 6 or whatever being close to nowadays time. So yeah, this show is very influential on other shows. You'll notice that a lot of the times some of the poses and even some of the character designs are not only influenced by a lot of shows and generations of manga and of course even stuff like American bands and song names, but this show has also influenced a lot of animes, since despite its newer look, it's been around since the same time as Dragon Ball. So, any delay, we are going to be starting this part with part 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, aka Phantom Blood. Phantom Blood mostly follows the story of Jonathan Joestar, who is a classy Englishman, and his relationships with his stepbrother Dio Brando. This story sets up pretty much every single event afterwards, and the struggle between these two is one of the most memorable parts of the series. I cannot tell you how perfect these two characters bounce off of each other. It is so fun to see Dio ruin Jonathan's life, and then Jonathan pretty much coming out of that and taking his life back. I mean, Dio is an asshole, that's not even gonna lie, Dio is the very definition of an asshole. If there was an award for, biggest asshole in anime history, Dio would at least get, a nominee or whatever, he would at least be in the top 10. Dio is that much of an asshole. Dio attempts to steal Jonathan's girlfriend, burns Jonathan's dog, makes Jonathan's father love him more, and nearly kills Jonathan's father in the course of the couple episodes. But I am spoiling a bit, so I won't get that much into it. Let's just say that even more in the series, Dio does a lot more crazy shit, and, well, yeah, Dio is just a good character all around. Jonathan is the exact opposite, though, and he carries a lot of stereotypical shonen characteristics. Jonathan is very, very kind and considerate. He's very much a gentleman. He doesn't like violence a lot, but he definitely resorts to violence a lot of the time. He's also very, very, how would I put it, sincere and very dedicated to his family and to his friends, and he's very, very kind. I tell you, you don't get much better than him when it comes to the Joestars, because the other parts, well, let's just say they keep the kindness factor, but the gentleman factor they don't really keep all that. I'm getting ahead of myself. The storyline and characters kind of intertwine together because this series is mostly dedicated to those characters. Now that we moved on from the main protagonist and main antagonist, let's look at the other characters for a second. First of all, our main side characters are Jonathan's main mentor and trainer for the time that he's trying to face Dio, William A. Zeppeli, who is a very classy, strong, and very, very wise teacher, who's also trying to kill Dio and stuff. There's Speedwagon, who is Speedwagon. Speedwagon. He doesn't really do much. I mean, I'm gonna say this here, he does much more in later parts. And in fact, he pretty much goes from being the most useless character in this part to being, the most important in next part, besides the main character. But, yeah, that doesn't change most of the fact that in this part he pretty much does nothing. I mean, Jonathan meets him in an alleyway, and they have a little fight or whatever, but after that, he pretty much becomes a damsel in distress. Even more so than a damsel in distress. Yeah, he doesn't fight. In fact, all he pretty much serves there at most of the fights is pointing out shit we already could have guessed. Talking weird-ass Japanese, really fastly. Yeah, that's all Speedwagon pretty much does. Next up, we have Jonathan's main love interest, who is Irina Pendleton. Irina doesn't have much of a character besides being the caring love interest of the series. Let me tell you this much. Unlike other relationships you see in Jojo, Jonathan's and Irina seems really legit, even though it's very stereotypical. Like, it's pretty much boy meets girl, boy kicking boy's ass, girl falls in love, and they montage a bit. But at least the love does seem genuine, and she definitely does care a lot for him. But she doesn't serve that much role in the story, so yeah. We also have Jonathan's father, who is George Joestar, who again, we don't really get to see much of, but we do know that he's a really caring father. And there's also this one kid. I think his name's like Poco or something. He pretty much has like this one major scene, and that's about it. Yeah, so the characters aren't really that much in depth in this part, and trust me, this series has enough characters to make it worthy of stuff like Naruto or whatever, but I mean, since it's split up into different parts, you can't really say that it's always like Naruto or whatever. But since everything's split up into different parts, you can't say it's really the same as Naruto or whatever, because like, this show, it feels like there's less characters, only because it's split up into different parts or segments or whatever. And you never really get to feel like there's too many characters being pushed at your face and stuff. Mostly because they feature the characters one at a time. There's only a set number of main characters. Mostly around 5 to 6 in each part. And sometimes not even that much. Sometimes it's only like 1 or 2. The story, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Mostly because the story isn't as strong in this one. And, well, it's timeless and definitely shows a lot of Jonathan's life, and definitely, if it weren't for the events in Phantom Blood, nothing else would have happened in the story. Like, I am dead serious. If Dio wasn't such an asshole and Jonathan wasn't such a fucking perfect piece of shit, nothing in the rest of the series would have ever happened. So, yeah, the events of Phantom Blood definitely did lead to everything else. As for the characters, I'm giving them a 7 out of 10, because despite my nitpicks and stuff like that, I definitely did enjoy seeing each of the characters on the screen. Even Speedwagon, if he was fucking useless half the time. Now, say what you want about the fucking beefy-ass guy with the fucking flashy art style with multiple colors and fabulous, sometimes fucking art direction the series has gone through, but I generally don't really mind all of the really homophobe, gay art style of the show. I mean, it really suits the show, and to be honest, I can't really see the show having much else. And to be honest, I can't really see the show having a different art style. It really just suits the show so well, in a way, for a fact, that I can't really describe how the show would look with something like a Higurashi art style, or something moe or shit. I mean, this show has fucking balls. Like, have you seen some of the man tits on the show? Like, fucking, you can motorboat that shit. Plus, the animation is fluid as hell, and it's really good, especially in the anime. Like, the anime, everything just looks so super good. I give it a 7 out of 10, because, you know, opinions and stuff. The music for the show is incredibly good. Well, what can I say? It's shonen. What would you expect for it to be bad? I mean, even Fairy Tail, something I don't really like as much as amazing music and stuff, and that's a different review. That's a different time. Get out of your Fairy Tail. Anyways, let me just, wipe this blood off my axe. Where was I? Oh yes, the music. The music in the show is actually really memorable. The opening and ending themes are extremely catchy. Pretty much everything sounds super good. Like I said, it's shonen, so you can't really go wrong with shonen. And well, it's just good. Like I give it a 6 out of 10 because it just so good, even with the characters screaming half the time. Overall, I had some nitpicks. That's all they really were nitpicks, you know. I really did enjoy the show, and I enjoy every single part of the show. Oh, spoiler alert, yeah, I'm gonna give the show pretty good reviews, But in all honesty, this story was probably the weakest out of the 3 so far, and, well, I think I can understand why. The other show had really memorable moments, and while this series really did, they just weren't as memorable as the other series. And well, that's okay. I mean, this part is definitely a good part to start on, because it gives us a lot of info, and definitely, like I said, leads up a lot into the other part. But I'm giving the show a 6 out of 10 because it was just really enjoyable. I recommend it to people who love shonen. Of course, people who have seen Naruto or whatever and really want something that help inspire some of that, then yeah, come watch it. And of course, like, just most people in general, like, I understand it's not for everyone, but the show definitely has a lot going for it, and I did enjoy watching all of it. Now tune in next time for part 2, Battle Tendency. This is the Super High School Reviewer, signing off for now.